Hello, my name is Hunter Haley, and today I'm going to show you how to optimize your WordPress website for SEO purposes. And I'm going to be using Yoast SEO plugin to accomplish this, and I'll show you how all of that works. So this is a home page here, our first example, and this is purely an example site. It's nothing in particular, but we're going to try to optimize this particular page for the keyword or keyword phrase moon landing. All right, and it has a bunch of different things on here and images and different things, but what we're going to do is just go over the real basic elements first. All right, so the first thing you'll notice, if you have the Yoast SEO plugin installed, then you hover over this, you'll see SEO, and if you click on that, what it'll do is take you to the back end of the site to start working on the site or the page SEO. So a couple things you'll notice right here in the Yoast SEO section is that it has a couple things. The first thing is this edit snippet. Now you can change the SEO title of the site. So I'm going to say moon landing website. Okay, and so you'll notice that it's not very long, which is can be a good thing, but it's kind of got this orangish colored bar or yellow. What you want that to do is turn green. So I'm going to call moon landing for the rest of us. Okay, and what you see now is that this is turned green. And the reason for that, if you scroll down, it will tell you it has different content analysis and different things that will tell you what to do. So for instance, if I close this snippet and I update the page, you'll see if you scroll down here, it tells you a couple different things. It tells you that it's got all these different things that it wants you to do. And one of those is that the page title is between 35 characters and 65 characters. That's where, when we go to edit this snippet, we get that green bar from. So as soon as we get into what I'm going to call the green zone, it gives us a green light. All right, so in this particular case, it doesn't have a slug because it's the main home page, which is typical. But if you have an interior page, so like / about, the slug might look like about us or something like that. And you'll notice that's what's right here. So this particular site, and then it says about us. So, and this is just an example site again, but you'll see that whatever your site is / and it'll be whatever the slug is. In this particular case, there isn't one because it's the main home page, but most other pages and blog posts will have that filled out. You don't necessarily have to change that, but just when you go to create the site, think about something that is relevant to that. So for instance, you're going to want, if at all possible, the slug to contain your keyword. Now, obviously, you may not be able to do that every single time, but that's kind of a goal. All right, so moving right along here, when we get to meta description. Now, what this is again, you want to say something about moon landing because you want your focus keyword to show up here, which I already had told you what the focus keyword is, but most of the time what you'll do is you'll set it here. All right, so once you set the focus keyword, it starts analyzing everything to kind of let you know, okay, how do you stack up with this particular focus keyword? All right, so in this particular case, I need to add more to the description. So I'm going to say moon landing is a great feat, okay, but it seems very hard, but you can do it. In my ebook, Moon Landing for the Rest of Us, I give step-by-step instructions. All right, so now you'll see it turned green. Now, and the reason I went through this whole process is you want to make it sound actually conversational, because this is actually the snippet. If someone Googles you, this is what they will see. And as an example, if you look up, let's say if I go to google.com and let's say I put in, let's do car repair Memphis. That's near me. Okay, so if I do that, you'll see a couple things, but one of the things is this meta description here, and that's what you're putting in your snippet editor. That's what you're putting in. So the title is this, and the slug is all of this. So in this particular case, let's scroll down. So Uncle Dave's Auto. All right. Well, Uncle Dave's Auto, they've got their site title, their URL, and then their meta description. And you'll see it says, "We'll show you what's wrong, teach you about your car, and give you options." And then it talks and goes into other things. Well, that sounds pretty good, but what you want to do is make it readable. You don't want it to be, I'll show you an example here. You don't want it to be moon landing, how to land on the moon, moon landing, moon, moonish landing. You don't want it to be a bunch of random keywords that you just plug in there. You want it to actually have a conversation, because Google will see and pick up on the fact that you're trying to stack the keywords. Anyway, so I'm going to close the editor there, and then what I'm going to do is look back down here. Now that I've added the focus keyword, it's going to give me even more options, which going through a couple of these, you need to have a focus keyword. It appears 1 out of 14 subheadings, so it is in a heading, which going back over to, let's go to the front page of our site here, this would be classified as a heading. So if I go into Page Builder, or basically any kind of editing the page, what I can see here is that moon landing, if I toggle down here, it's heading 1. So in this particular block of text, moon landing is in one of the headings, which is important because Google, that's like saying what's important on this page. And that's what headings are, is telling Google what's important. So obviously moon landing, or whatever. So that's why, be careful to use headings, because you don't want to make everything on the page important, otherwise you'll confuse Google. But you need one H1 tag, which basically is telling them what the most important thing is, and then maybe a couple of H2 tags, heading 2 tags. So, might make, ebook content and extras, a H2 tag, and you might make these H3. They're not as important, but they are important, and that works out better than just bolding text. Whereas, this, we only have a limited amount. You wouldn't want to make that a heading. You would want to make that just bold text if you're trying to draw attention to it. And the reason for that, again, is because Google assigns priority to different things. So I'm going to publish changes there. All right, to get out of that. So we have it in one of our headings. The page title is in the right length. We have the meta description, and it does have the keyword. You have over 300 word recommended minimum. The keyword density is 0.9, which is great. The focus keyword is found 4 times. Again, you don't want to put the keyword in your web copy every other word. So moon landing, for the rest of us, is a great book about moon landing. If you want to do something about moon landing, read our book about moon landing, because moon landing is awesome. If you overstack the keyword in the content of your website, then Google will pick up on that very quickly and actually will hurt you, not help you. So usually 2, 3, 4 times is enough on a smaller page. If you get over 5, 6, 8, 10 times, really start to look at that and see if there's another way to reword that so it doesn't look like you're stacking. If you've got it 20 or 30 times, you just need to throw it out, or just give up hope of ranking for that page, because you'll get thrown out probably. All right, so it says you've never used this keyword before. That's an important thing, because for every single page, every single post, everything that you're wanting to optimize, you want to use a different focus keyword or keyword phrase. So, and it can be similar, but not exactly the same. Otherwise, Google will see, oh, you're trying to rank both of these pages, or be confused about which page ranks most. So you may have a focus keyword of moon landing, or you may say moon landing ebook. Might be another one on a different page, and obviously this one's not as optimized for that. But let's just go back to moon landing. All right, so the images on this do not have alt tags or are alt attributes containing your focus keyword. I'll show you that in just a second. And the focus keyword doesn't appear in the first paragraph of the copy. Make sure that it appears immediately. Well, those are things I can easily work on to make those happen, but you'll notice that it's already green. So as long as, you'll have 3 different ratings, and you'll see it here, you'll see it here, and then also when I update, let's go to the page. All right, so see how it's got this little green dot there, and you can actually view it if you're logged into the site to do your editing. You'll see it on this main controller bar up here, and it says SEO. Okay, and it have a green dot beside it, and that's what you're going for. And you can go through and tweak every single part of it to try to get to every single category that they recommend under this to go green. But at the same time, you may not necessarily be able to get everything to line up. So the goal is to get to green, and if you can get them all green, that's great, but at least the overall average is green. That's a very, very good goal to reach. And again, you can go back and change those. So let's go back to the page builder here to look at this page. And I'm going to, I like that image there, but let's say I was going to change out, this image. Now, obviously, I like that one here, and it's part of the design, but let's just change it out for something completely random. Okay, I've selected an image here, and it's a graphic. It looks just like text, but it really is a graphic, and it's the same for pictures, graphics, anything that's a JPEG, PNG, or anything that you're going to upload like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say before the moon, let's do this, before the moon landing, and I'm going to set that as the title, and I'm going to do the same thing for the alt text, except I'm going to say before the moon landing image. So those can be different. You want them to be fairly close, probably, but that's just letting Google know, what this is. And you can either, leave that on there or leave it off. I typically would just leave it off, but you're welcome to describe what it is so people can see, what's going on here. And most people won't actually see this. This is more for search engines, but again, don't keyword stack. Try to make it actually flow. So again, you can say moon landing for the rest of us is great. This image is about what happens before the moon landing. Okay, so I put just a short little description in here, and it includes those keywords, but they're in an actual phrase. I'm going to hit select photo, and put it in there, and so now I've got that as far as that image. So if I click done and I click publish, and I go back over to the SEO part here, you will notice once it analyzes the site, it says that it does have, yes, the images on this page do contain the alt tag keywords. Now, it does have that. Now, it's done some further analysis since I've gotten out and back into it, and it says, hey, look, you don't have it in any subheadings. You've got it in one of your main headings, but you don't have it in a subheading, such as H2. So I'm like, okay, well, I can improve that. So I'm going to go back to the page, and let's do this here. So I'm going to say, because the two things that it was saying is that it's not in the first paragraph, and so I'm going to say, about your own rocket for moon landing. Oops, I'm going to do this for moon landing missions. Okay. All right. So I've put the keyword in there, and then I'm going to go down the page, and I'm going to say, this is, we're going to make this a header 2, and we're going to say moon landing ebook. Or I must have copied that. We're just going to call it moon landing ebook content and extras. Okay, I'm going to hit publish changes there. And then we're going to go back in and let it reanalyze and see what it tells us. All right, so now this has got pretty much a perfect score. We've got every single area to turn completely green, and that's actually very difficult. And obviously, I've designed this page to kind of work with that and chose a very easy focus keyword for this particular content and page. But you can see how I went through and I just used this as a guide to optimize every element of the page in order to make sure that it's optimized for the word moon landing. And so that'll be a huge help as far as turning this into a keyword optimized page for this particular keyword. So the same is true for post. Real similar, it works real similar, but I'll show you how that works here in just a second. Okay, so I just added a section here called blog. All right, and this is, straight out of the box defaults. So no customizations, no design on this at all. So I apologize for how bare it looks, but I'm just going to show you the principle. So here we have our little example post, hello world. And if we click on this post, we can see again the SEO score. It's grayed out right now because we haven't selected a focus keyword. So we're going to do just like we did the page. I'm going to say hello world. Okay, and that's my keyword phrase. Now you'll notice it gives me kind of this red ranking here. So you can make a few quick changes here. Obviously it's already got hello world, but I could add hello world, our hello world, this is our first post on the lunar blog. Okay, and so what that does is it gives us our little green right here, and it includes the titles. And so again I can say, if you are ready to say hello world after you leave the moon, you need to read chapter 23 of our book, Moon Landing for the rest of us. Sorry for the tedious typing here, but you get the point. Is you want to again make it conversational, and this is a little trivial, but you see the point. And again, all right. So in this case, we have a slug that says "Hello World," which is ideal, and it says "Hello World" up here. Permalink and slug is the same thing, and it also is basically the after the / what in the URL. All right, so the focus keyword is hello world, and we've added it in the title and our description, meta description here. So it says your text only contains 15 words. Obviously, you need more words than that. So I'm going to go grab some dummy words real quick, and we'll see if we can optimize that. All right, so I just went over and grabbed some dummy text, and it doesn't mean anything, and it's not a foreign language, as someone once asked me. Although I guess it's based off of Latin, maybe, I don't know. But it's just dummy text, and if we update here, let's see how many, it'll tell us how many words we have now. So it'll say, okay, you have 182 words, you need 300. And so this is where you would say, oh, got to go back and write more words. And again, you don't necessarily have to have 300 words on every single blog post, every single page, different things like that. But again, this is just a guide to try to help you get there. All right, and so it's given us a green light already because we've got several good things going on for us, but it's still got several things left to optimize. Now, I'm not going to go through and optimize each one of these, but because I showed you kind of that before, but what you get the idea is you can kind of follow this as a guide to be able to make sure that you're optimizing the right thing. And and even little things like no links appear on this page, considering adding some is appropriate. So if you're writing a blog post about hello world, how to get back to Earth from landing on the moon, then you need to talk about your product that you're trying to get people to buy. In this case, your ebook about from the moon and back, or moon landing for the rest of us, or whichever one, your different guides. And then what you want to do is link to it in the content. So let's say I've got a sentence here. To learn more, buy our book here. Okay, and then I'm just going to click on this, and I'm going to create a link, and I'm just going to make a dummy link, just that for right now, and update, and so there we go. And so you can see that it still says there's no links on this page because that's just a dummy link. It didn't go anywhere. But you get the idea that, actually I think what it is, sorry about that, I just didn't hit apply and then update. See, that's an important factor, is you have to save your changes for it to take effect, and so don't get stuck into that. All right, so yeah, there we go. So obviously I tricked the system, but the suggestion was that you needed to add a link in your text. And the reason for that is because, and this is kind of more into theory, that if you link to high quality websites, so if you're a doctor's office, you need to link to high quality medical sites, linking out to them or linking to yourself or doctors you refer people to, or different reputable sites, because that gives them backlinks and it shows Google, hey, look, this is the kind of people that they're pointing people to. But then also eventually, hopefully, if you have good content and stuff like that, other people will link, the quality sites will link back to you. So again, as far as this is more the theory of building SEO. If you can do guest blogs or get your blog shared on social media, or write blogs or write content, write landing pages, link to other sites, get other sites to link to you as an authority if you write a really good blog post or a good page talking about a certain topic and different things like that. All of those are good ways to get what's called backlinks, but not just backlinks to other sites. Just like this, I would be linking to another page on my site to buy books or buy what a product or schedule an appointment or whatever. Those actually, while not necessarily the same, they do count as internal linking, and they show a good content structure and helps Google with that, and therefore improves your SEO score. So again, pages and posts can both be optimized with the Yoast SEO plugin. And once you have images that you add meta descriptions to, which I'll show you here, you can go to the media library and click on any image. Once you have fill it up with images, and this looks like text, but again, this is just a picture with a transparent background that we were overlaying on the home page. But add the title. You don't necessarily have to add a caption unless it's something you want displayed. But if you don't want the display to display, I wouldn't necessarily put that there. But definitely title, alt text, and a description. And those again are not necessarily, which this is jumping over here because I have a little plugin called Grammarly, which helps with spelling and stuff. But the idea is that you are telling Google what this image is about, because Google can't read. Like, it says before, but it could never read that. What it reads is before the moon landing, before the moon landing. So it says, oh, this is about something before the moon landing, and then it reads the description and says, oh, this is connected to the ebook about before. So it ranks that image. So there's a lot that can be said about just adding this alone will help Google to find out more about your images, because you may have wonderful images, but if they don't have details that Google can understand, they don't exist to Google. And so that's kind of the key. And then also writing content that actually focuses on being natural, but also including important keyword phrases, and long tail keyword phrases is what they're called. So I may be trying to optimize for moon landing, but maybe I do things like lunar orbit. I work that word into my content somewhere and say, as right before you do a moon landing, lunar orbit is a critical step. Well, if someone types in lunar orbit how-to guide, well, this page may actually be relevant, and Google may see that as relevant because it's not the exact same keyword, but it's a long tail, meaning it's something similar that they might actually search for. And as such, it's something that is relevant and something to add to your page that Google kind of compiles all that together and say, oh, these are similar type topics, these are similar keywords and stuff. So if someone searches for this, they may also be interested in this, and it's on this page here. And so that's the basics of optimizing your WordPress site, both with Yoast SEO, plugging in the meta descriptions, and just kind of optimizing it to really try to get as much bang for your buck as far as on-site SEO as possible. And I also threw a few hints in there as far as backlinks and linking to other sites and getting other sites to link to you and stuff like that. But overall, that's the essence of what you need to know. So the key is just getting out there and getting it done.